You know that feeling when someone tells you an amazing story and you just have to share it? Well, in Spanish, doing that means mastering something called Estilo Indirecto, or reported speech. And honestly, it's like unlocking a storytelling superpower. It lets you share conversations and gossip and just make your Spanish sound so much more natural. So, let's get into it.
Here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll get clear on the difference between direct and indirect speech. Then, we're going to fire up the verbal time machine. This is the key to getting your tenses right. After that, we'll talk about the glue that holds your stories together, and finally, we'll put all the pieces together so you can see it in action.
All right, first things first, let's start with the absolute basics, the fundamental tools you're going to need to report what someone else said. Okay, so picture this. Your friend leans over and says, "Voy a la fiesta." I'm going to the party. Now, how do you turn around and tell someone else what she just said? You're not going to just repeat her exact words, right? You need to report it, and this is something we do like all day, every day.
Okay, check out the difference here. On the left, you've got Estilo Directo. It's a direct quote, like in a book, with quotation marks. Cecilia said, "I don't believe you." But look at the right. This is where the magic happens. The quotation marks are gone. We've added the little word que, and the pronouns in the verb totally change. She said that she didn't believe her. See the shift?
So, here's the big idea. Indirect style is all about taking someone else's words and weaving them into your own sentence, your own story. You're not just, copying and pasting, you're adapting what they said so it fits your narrative.
And to do that, you really only need two basic building blocks to start. When you're reporting a statement, you'll use decir que, which is basically to say that. And if you're reporting a yes or no question, you'll use preguntar si, which means to ask if. That's it. These are your gateways into reported speech.
And now for the really cool part, the part that feels a little bit like magic. When we report something that was said in the past, the verb tense has to do a little time travel too.
This is the golden rule, and it's actually pretty simple. If your main reporting verb is in the past, like she said, dijo, then the verb from the original quote has to take one step back into the past as well. Think of it like a time machine for your verbs.
Now this table shows you the two most important shifts you'll be making all the time. If the original quote used the present tense, like estoy, it hops back to the imperfect, estaba. And if it was in the future, like iré, it shifts back to the conditional, iría. Let me show you what I mean.
Here's a perfect example. Someone says, "Estoy cansado." I am tired. That's happening right now, present tense. But when you tell your friend about it later, you say, "He said that he was tired." Estoy becomes estaba. It took that one step back in time. Simple, right?
And here's that other key shift. The original statement is a promise about the future. I will go to her house. But when we report it, we're talking about a plan that was made in the past. So it becomes, he said that he would go to her house. The future, iré, becomes the conditional, iría. It's brilliant.
Okay, you've got the time changes down, which is huge. But we're not done. You've got the basics, but now let's add the glue, the stuff that turns a bunch of sentences into a really compelling story.
These things, connectors, are kind of like the secret weapon of fluent speakers. They link your ideas together and give your whole story a natural flow, so you don't sound all choppy and robotic. They show the relationship between different parts of the story.
And here are a few essentials to get you started. If you want to show contrast, you can use sin embargo for however or aunque for although. To show a consequence, por lo tanto works great for therefore. And if you just want to add more information, you can't go wrong with además, which means furthermore or besides.
All right, it's time, the moment of truth. We've collected all the pieces, the introductory phrase, the verb time machine, and now the connectors. Let's put it all together and see your new superpower in action.
Okay, let's walk through this step by step. First, we have the direct quote from Anna. I'm cold. I will buy a coat. Simple enough. Step 2, we start our report. Ana dijo que. Step 3, we fire up the time machine. Tengo, which is present, becomes tenía, imperfect. Compraré, which is future, becomes compraría, conditional. And now, for the final pro-level touch, in step 4, we add a connector to show the logic. Anna said that she was cold, therefore, she would buy a coat. Wow, look at that sentence.
And just like that, you've done it. You've taken two short, simple sentences and you've stitched them together into one single, flowing, coherent narrative. You now have all the essential tools to report what people say accurately and, with a little style.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What's a story someone told you recently? Can you try reporting it in Spanish using these tools? Go on, give it a shot. Put your new superpower to the test.